Word on the street. FisMaz show. What's the word on the street? Like, who got the beats that be killing the game? Who's up on the screen? Who playing who? What's the score on the sheet? Fiso the Prince got him taking the seat. Got the legends giving us the 411. FisMaz from the 031. No hating sports and entertainment when we got it on and we're the only ones. And after all that action, never how we dripping high fashion. Drippy on some rich Mississippi stylists and soak up with passion. If it's giving us less, then we never settle. Make sure you pull up and bring all your medals. Sit back and relax, let's go. It's FisMaz bringing you the FisMaz show. It's the FisMaz show. It's the FisMaz show. It's the FisMaz show. It's the FisMaz show.
Hello everyone, it is the Olympics, Tokyo 2020. It's all been happening. It's been pretty exciting, not only seeing our athletes that are medaling, but also just seeing all our teams competing at the highest level. And the one I'm going to focus on today is hockey. And I thought, you know what, let me go back to, I guess, one of my favorite players when I was a little bit younger. Kate, how are you doing?
Fiso, thank you. That's a very kind introduction. I'm good. I'm smiling.
Honest, you know?
Okay. Nice. Good start. No, I appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, and just smiling with all this Olympic action on the go. It's truly amazing just to watch our fine athletes in action. I've been so fortunate, Fiso, actually to manage 3 Olympic Games. But my goodness, 2004, I must say, I think I was like Bambi in the headlights, quite a youngster in the team, just 22 and very much a junior, you know, the one carrying the water bottles and picking up all the balls. But what an experience, you know, also where the Olympics was born from, in Athens, in Greece, a really special games, but my first. And so like really quite overwhelmed with the experience to be alongside your sporting heroes that you've worshipped for so long. And all of a sudden, you know, you're next to them competing at the same tournament. It is quite surreal, but truly amazing. And then Beijing, I think I managed to get a little bit more experience, a few more caps under the belt. I was part of the leadership team. So yeah, different experience for me, probably more at the peak of my career. Up and down results, a roller coaster ride for SA women's hockey always. I think we're seeing it today in Tokyo as well. Still really tough against the best in the world, but we also managed to, you know, get some surprise results. We do have talent and we can turn it on. So a couple of nice wins in Athens and Beijing. And then I thought I was done. I got married and had a kid, and then all of a sudden, you know, really there was a burning sort of desire inside of me to get back out on that field. The coach at the time, Giles Bonnet, approached me to come back to work my way into the team, and obviously also just 6 months after having my first son, it was quite a task. But then I was en route to my 3rd Olympic Games in London 2012. That was a very special Olympic Games. I must say I will hold memories from that Olympics for a long time. I think a more senior player, different perspectives in life, you know, working full time with Adidas, as well as being a mom, as well as still playing sport at the sort of the highest level. What a year 2012 was for me, and I'll hold those memories in my heart forever.
What a journey it would have been. And again, you look back at Athens and you think, you know, I mean, you speak of surprise results. I guess, you know, you look over the years and we've seen South Africa at times being able to punch above their weights and showing those flashes of brilliance. Athens was probably a highlight of that very journey.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I wrote a little mail to the team and gave them some words of advice of don't look left and right. Don't compare your journey to your competitors, because our journey and our prep is very different, you know, to some of the best in the world and the very professional teams that we compete against. But don't underestimate, you know, the talent and the ability that we have. In Athens, we took a hiding from the Dutch in game 1, and in game 3, we beat Germany 3-0. They went on to win the gold medals at that Olympic Games. You know, we did it again in Beijing after some tough defeats. We beat Korea, we beat New Zealand. Then in London, I think a game that I will always keep close to my heart was when we were up against the United States. We had to beat them by 5 goals in order to make a higher classification. This was unheard of. You know, they were incredibly professional outfit at the time, ranked way above us, a huge coaching staff. You know, they had everything. And all of a sudden we had to beat them by 5 goals. And it was was this moment in sport that I think, it was just everything came together. FISO, we beat them 7-0, and I think every one of those goals kind of started from the keeper right at the back, worked their way through the team, and it was just this combined team effort that was sensational. And this is what South Africans are able to do and turn on and perform. And watching the men the other day against Belgium, I thought this was electric. Yes, it was a hard defeat in the end, 9-4. And unfortunately, there is no remarks column and we don't take a point from the game. But that game sits in my heart because it was an electric performance from the team to show what we can do against the world's best. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And it should give a lot of hope and inspiration to South Africans watching them.
As a South African, who obviously follows the game of hockey, who's played the game of hockey, it's those kind of performances. And you look at the performance against the Netherlands, you look at how the South African ladies team played at the Hockey World League that was staged in South Africa. There's so many flashes that you think, oh man, we've just got something. We just need a little bit of help somewhere along the way just to be able to elevate. And again, you've spoken about preparation and all those things. I think the average South African doesn't quite get it. They just think, oh, South Africa lost 9-4 or the score is this or that. It's only when you really sit down and are able to explain it to them, they're like, geez, so we actually do okay,
Absolutely. There's such raw talent that exists. I mean, look at those Kasim brothers. Absolutely phenomenal. Look at Pumi's saves against the Dutch. We have such talent, and we need to work harder on our structures, our systems, our investments and support and sponsors, just to set up our teams a bit better. I think in all of our team sports at the Olympics, I'm talking hockey, men and women, water polo, men and women, we just lack that international experience and exposure competing in these big games all the time. Our most senior player in the pool is with 50 caps, and they're competing against people with nearly 400 caps. So there is just a difference in experience. And we need to try and set our teams up better to really make it count more consistently at these tournaments like the Olympic Games. So I believe we can do it. I believe we can do it. And so maybe it's almost a challenge to everyone listening. What can we do to make sure that we're investing in these sports and we're setting our teams up to really be more successful?
Again, it's always difficult to look down the road and to look too far ahead. But, maybe just a comment with regards to, I guess, the current team, the obstacles that they face at the moment. It hasn't been an easy Olympic Games for them, but nonetheless, there's always something you can take out of every situation.
Absolutely there is, and that's why they're still there, right? It's that burning passion inside of them that makes them still go out there and sacrifice so much to still compete and play. The preparation is different, and there are a lot of young women that have to make a choice. They need to start their careers or they want to start families, and their choice is to be made. And so sometimes they aren't able to continue playing as long as they want to. Sometimes if sponsors aren't on board, then the road is not as long for that sport, or maybe the opportunities aren't that plentiful. So yeah, it's tough for these amateur sports in our country. It's a very tough road, and I really commend and respect all the athletes that make so many sacrifices to be there. And our teams, what I'm seeing just from the outside, our women's team is young. They're young, and they need to really get more international caps under their belts. They need to be exposed to these teams on a more regular basis. So they need to be competing overseas. I remember for London, I was the only player based in South Africa at the time. Everyone else was playing in the professional leagues abroad in Europe. And this exposure, even at a club level, every single weekend, and playing in the same team as some of these, international greats, that also brings such experience. And so I would encourage that. Either, we just afford more opportunities for our teams to compete internationally more regularly, or we also, up our club structure here. Maybe we need to import some of the international talent back to our home soil and really start to build stronger infrastructures on the ground in South Africa as well. But huge respect for these players that actually sacrifice so much and give it all for their country, and they're making us proud. Doesn't matter about the results. They're making us very proud.
I want to touch on, I guess, the Olympic life. A lot of people will look at things like opening ceremonies, and they'll look at, being in the village. At the moment, I saw a picture of the ladies, Tony Marks, Kristen Payton. They took a picture with Novak Djokovic. it's those kind of things that truly makes the Olympics special. I mean, I want to take me through, I guess, the experiences you had, and just being in that environment, being in the village, and being able to be around the world's very best. What is that like?
It's sensational, honestly. As I mentioned in the beginning, you want to pinch yourself to think, am I really here alongside these world greats, these sporting heroes, and we're playing at the same tournament and living in the same village? It's absolutely amazing. For me, a moment that stands out was in London. The team, we were walking across the village to the casual dining, and en route walking past us was Roger Federer. And now he is my sporting hero. For me, the world's best sportsman. And as he walked past, I kind of had this moment where it was like I knew him. I said, "How's it, Rog?" I greeted him with like a nickname. This is crazy. But he stopped to chat to the team. We had a good laugh, some pictures with him, and wow, just bumping into your hero in the village. And it really is somewhere where the eating hall, the dining halls are kind of where all the action happens, because everyone obviously congregates there, and this is where you get to see a lot of sporting stars, a lot of tennis players. So yeah, I think for me, I'm definitely drawn to them. But the basketballers, the swimmers. I remember in 2008, the games where Michael Phelps, just stunned the world with his 8 gold medals. He used to always try find a quiet spot. And as a team, there are a lot of us, we wanted to eat together. So we always used to find a quieter area of the hall to sit in and eat together. And always there was Michael Phelps. So it was kind of like we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner with 8-time gold medal Olympic champion. So yeah, these moments in the village are insane. And I think part of the experience, right, is just being with these elites, living together, training together, and being at the same tournament as them.
As you're saying that, I can feel the energy radiating out of you. Just like, wow, what a time in history.
Yeah. It is, absolutely. Yeah. I got a picture from my hubby this morning. He's actually there with the women's water polo team, and pictured with Wade van Niekerk. Also at the Olympic Games, you're not alone. Even if you're in an individual sport or a team sport, you're not alone. You're not even in your own sporting code. You're together in a team of athletes from all different sporting codes. You're part of a bigger team, your country. And when you see medals, like Tatiana and Bianca, our surfer, incredible. Like, this is what gives other teams motivation and inspires them to go out there and like just give it their best. So, also celebrating those moments with all the other sporting codes as well is incredible.
And no doubt for you that I guess the build up to the Olympics would have been different from being just an athlete. You obviously involved, as you mentioned, in more of an administrative point of view. So take me through that. I guess, that second wind in your life, after sport, and what you've been up to.
So I'm very lucky to call my job work. I work for Adidas. I'm the senior brand director, so looking after the Adidas brand in South Africa. What a privilege, to work for one of arguably the world's greatest sports brand. And our job is to equip athletes, with the right product to sort of deliver their best in their sport. So I'm absolutely blessed to work with amazing people all around the world, to work with sports product and to attend sporting events. And the Olympics, obviously the build up this time around was quite different. Having had it delayed from last year, some athletes are still there, some have missed the opportunity, some are peaking differently to others, without being able to be on the ground. Normally we'd have, the Adidas hospitality, where we invite friends and family of the brand and host our athletes and provide, them comfort and services. This was not as possible this time around. But what is amazing, Fizo, is listening to all of our athletes that are there competing from all different countries and all different sports, and hearing from them just what this Olympic Games means, I think has been very special. I think everyone is playing for almost a greater purpose. And they're playing for something bigger than just themselves and just their sport. The world needs light and hope. The world needs, some inspiration and some unity. So I think this is what the Olympic Games does, and this is what it brings. And for me, watching some of the sporting codes this week, seeing the medal ceremony, seeing the tears stream down the faces of the medal winners, you just see what this means to them. And so having been there as an athlete, and now in my professional career, still being a part of those journeys with Adidas is, something I'm very, very grateful for. I know we can be quite harsh armchair critics at time as a nation, watching our sport and sort of maybe commenting on not good enough and not enough medals and no gold. But let's not be like that. Let's look for the good. Let's look for the moments that have been remarkable, spectacular, making history, and giving a platform for more athletes, more female athletes, to be at the games, to be competing. And we need to work hard as a country and a nation to work on the journey, the preparation, the investments and support for these teams, for these individuals, for the next Olympic Games.
If you decide to run for office and want to be a sports minister, I'm fully behind you. I'm fully behind you, Kate.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's one.
Kate Woods, really thank you for your time. It's been great chatting to you, and I think some great words there for athletes, for everyday South Africans. And again, wishing you all the best in your career. And hopefully one day we'll bump into each other at the Olympic Games, maybe in 2024.
Let's hope for that. Fiso, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. Always great to talk Olympics.